Alright, here we go. So we've got a pretty strange opening set of moves at the moment. We've got what would be an Alekhine, but they've played bishop d3, so it's not an Alekhine. I transposed to some strange Sicilian, and now they've done b3, so it's just some completely almost new opening. Maybe they'll name it after me. Maybe I can get into the Hall of Fame by creating a new opening. Right, knight c3, so not what I was expecting. Bishop b2 fianchetto is more natural, I think. Knight e5 looks a bit, maybe a bit too premature. I'm attempting to win the bishop with that move. d5 is also interesting. I don't really want to give the d3 bishop an excuse to look good. I may as well keep that e4 pawn where it is. Knight e5 and knight d4 just looks so tempting. Okay, I'll play carefully. There's no reason for me to go crazy here. Just castle, fianchetto. Really provoking me into playing an early knight move. Knight d4 is just so tempting. I'm going to have to play it sooner or later. Bishop g4 is a simple developing move. It's designed to attack the queen and cause problems. I've made them block with their knight, otherwise they would have lost something big. And this now allows knight d4 to come with essentially a sort of free attack on their knight. Tempo, as it were. They've got out the pin with queen f2. I'm actually thinking here not to play something that may look normal, bishop takes knight or knight takes knight. I'm actually going to bring up my queen. So this is mainly an attempt to get active quickly. White's now attacking me. Bishop takes knight is the natural move here. Pawn takes would double their pawns. It would give me a really good position. For a moment, I'm a little bit concerned about the G file being opened, which would allow rook to line up with my king. But you can't get scared of everything. You have to play a little aggressively in this game. B5. So I'm going for a pawn storm, a rush towards the white king. Got a queen, a knight, two pawns, all heading their way. They've also got some influence, some pull on the king side, but I feel like my attack is going to be faster. Here, if I push b4, which does look good, they will probably move their knight to a4, and I don't see how I get the monstrous attack that I want. I'm going to play rook to c8, lining up directly with their king. This could be very dangerous, but I have to act fast, otherwise they will also have a big attack. So I'm looking at knight h5. I've changed my mind now. Knight h5 was my idea to stop them pushing their pawns up. Then they have knight d5, which could spell trouble. c4 is the move I'm considering. c4, but then they have queen takes knight. I'm trying to work out if I can play this anyway and take their bishop, going for some big attack. Something tells me it isn't quite working. It's close though. Very close. But the thing is, if I move my f6 knight, they will move their knight to d5. Oh, but they can't. Well, they can, but they I don't think they should, because then queen takes a2 looks very dangerous. So my first instinct was knight h5. I probably should have done it without so much hesitation. This kills a lot of white's play, and while I could play c4 now, I'm just going to be careful. I don't want to jeopardize my chances of winning so early on. Right, now is the time to push. I've got all my pieces, except for that a8 rook, in the right place. Okay, they've run away. That makes sense. So here, knight takes e2 is the tempting move. If they take with their knight, I have queen takes a2 with not a Not a bad source of attack. If they take with their queen, though, on e2 after I check them, knight g3 is tempting. That's the simple move. Queen f4, knight f4, sorry, is also a good move. Bishop takes c3 doesn't strike me as the strongest move on the board, but it does look good. Alright. Maybe taking on b3 is technically better, but I think this move is simpler. They have taken with their knight, so they are immediately playing that to avoid f4 being attacked. So bishop takes bishop, king takes bishop doesn't quite suit me. I think queen takes a2 is a lot more aggressive. And as you will learn, if you don't know this about me already, I'm a very, very aggressive player. Perhaps too aggressive sometimes. So here, can you guess what move I am considering in this position? If you thought it was to save my queen, you were wrong. Again, I don't care about pieces. I care about mating them. I am looking at pawn takes b3. If they take my queen, which does look like a very natural move, that allows my rook on c8 to suddenly slam into their position with rook c2. Then I have to actually calculate. King to b1. Rook takes b2 to check. If they go king to a1, they get mated with rook a2, king b1, rook a1 mate. And if they go king c1, that's the annoying move. Rook c8 doesn't quite work because they have knight c3. Then I can have bishop takes. Okay, this move just looks so interesting, I have to play it. If not for the win, at least it will make all of you at least sort of see something interesting. Oh, and they've done it! They have done it, so now I get to play really cool moves. Even if they don't work, it's really fun to play this. King b1 is forced, so I could have pre-moved, but I don't generally like pre-moving. They have done the king move, which must be correct. Right, so I now have to calculate more. Rook c2 is a draw, so I know I have a draw. Another reason for playing this. I have the draw in the bag. Pawn takes knight looks unbelievably strong, actually. Forget about all this rook c8 rubbish. Pawn takes knight. I don't see how they stop mate in 1 when I promote to a rook or a queen. Most likely a queen. I do not see it, and unlike Bobby Fischer in one of his famous games, where he could have played, I believe, king f1 in a match and won because his opponent had no moves, and he thought that because he couldn't see a move, there'd be something he was missing. I can't see a move for white because I don't believe there is one. So this queen sack is I think quite a nice, pretty way of winning the game. Hopefully I'm not being like those commentators when they talk about a football result while the game is still going. It always annoys me. No, it is a win. So just to summarise that game, I'm going to look through it on a computer, and Lichess is loading it now. My computer's a bit slow. It's not the fault of the Lichess server, which, shout out to Lichess, is one of my favourite sites to play chess on. The evaluation is just to the top right of the chessboard. Over here, my mouse is hovering around it very unhelpfully. Already it's giving black an advantage because white's bishop is so badly placed on d3. It's not a move that looks any good. The computer was suggesting knight d4 for a few moments. Bishop g7 was okay. Casting queenside, I think developing the pieces was fine. f4 didn't look good to me, and my move bishop g4, very active move, making knight f3 playable. And now this is a very nice move, knight h5, just like I did in the game. If white plays g3 to guard their f4 pawn, moving too many pawns, this allows knight d4 to come with a absolutely just devastating attack. I'm going to either take their queen or take their knight on f3. The computer says it's 4 points better for black, and at top level chess, even 1 point can be enough to win the game. 4 points is just overkill. I'm probably going to also fork their 2 rooks with bishop takes knight if they move their queen. Computer's actually saying white should give their queen away. to lose the minimum. So their f4 pawn looks like it may drop, and if they play queen to e3 to guard the pawn, this is a move that might have taken me a while to find, if I'd have found it at all. Normally you want to keep your what I call the dragon bishop, the bishop on g7 for black, which is pointing all the way across the board through the centre and over to white's queen side, where their king is located. So you almost never want to give it up, and this move looks at first like it's a mistake, because white can take the bishop, which is slaying your dragon, as I call it. However, after pawn takes knight, winning back the material momentarily lost when white took the bishop, now there's 3 different white pieces all being attacked at once. They'll most likely save the queen with the computer move queen f2. Then, instead of taking the rook, immediately getting a few points, I will first take the knight. And despite what the computer says, I think white would take with their bishop. It's a very human move, keep the bishop lined up with our king. So they've lost 2 points, 3 for the knight, but got back 1 for the pawn on c3. But then they're now going to lose another 2 points, 5 for their rook, but then get back 3 for the bishop they take with. So they're down a lot of points, down about 4 points, I think, if my maths is correct. But you may want to check yourselves, because I am uncertain if my math is correct. So at this point, I'm essentially a rook up for a pawn. Yeah, rook up for a pawn, which is 4 points. So I'm vindicated. White's attack is almost non-existent. So the computer's actually saying black has an even bigger advantage than just the material. Long term, black is going to just clean up and win the game. So I probably could have done knight h5 with a greater advantage. And I missed knight h5 again. I've lost some of my advantage here. This queen a5 move may be inaccurate. h3, though, I don't think it was the right way for white to continue. Then b5, yes, knight h5. I eventually played it, but I was a bit late to the party. Rook c8. Ooh, almost level. In fact, it may even be white that's winning, but the Lichess computer, i.e. Stockfish, is going all over the place. It doesn't quite know whether white or black is better. I have a feeling black must be better, because black has more pieces active. And apparently queen b6 is good to line up with the white queen, which could be dangerous in the future. My move is also good. It's about the same evaluation. Yeah, knight d5 might have been better for white, but they would lose the a2 pawn. And when they played f4, yeah, now it's just totally crushing. Their king is in real trouble, and my move is actually correct. I had thought maybe taking on b3 was better. This queen infiltration coming near their king is devastating. I think they had to play... Wow, okay, e5 was not the move I was thinking, but it makes perfect sense. Block the dragon bishop on the on white's opposite bishop. And yeah, the move I thought at first, knight c3, is now the computer's first choice, where we can sack the queen. And I think, as this was the game, I do not think they should take the queen. Yeah, e5 was now what I thought they would actually do. And I was actually now, unfortunately, going to have to move my queen. I potentially looked at rook takes c3, trying to get a quick win. But I don't think that works. And the reason I don't think that works is they can take with their pawn. I was looking at bishop h6, removing my dragon bishop from the long diagonal, but putting it on a diagonal directly to their king. And through this almost Houdini-like magic, the white king will escape and live to fight another day. In fact, white actually has the advantage, despite having a totally wrecked king side and inactive pieces. However, the moment they took my queen, which is tempting, the queen is a big, juicy prize that your opponent will often go for, it's forced mate. I did not actually see pawn takes knight until it occurred on the board, so that's partly why I'm not yet 2400, but hopefully I will eventually get there. This was only a sort of trial match, really, because I am about 400 points higher rated than my opponent. So I do feel a bit sorry for them, because they shouldn't really be having to play somebody quite this much higher rated than them. And yeah, taking, and apparently the correct move is queen takes a7, which is a computer-like move just to delay the inevitable. There's nothing they can do to stop a1 queen apart from giving away their queen and delaying it by one turn. Alright, okay, I will stop the video here and I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Goodbye.